Okay, so welcome back to the conclusion of the Voluta divider bag. Okay, we just did the exterior, we did the lining, and now we're going to do just the finishing up. This part I wanted to just give you some tips and tricks because this part is a little bit more work to me than the exterior and interior, but it's 100% worth it. Some helpful tools that I think are helpful in this is a thimble, hemostats, and time and patience. I did a lot of the inserting the tubing while I was watching my favorite program. For the first bag, I just had my Spotify playlist, and for this bag, I was listening to a podcast. So have some fun, and I'm going to show you some tips. And you did it. You should be very proud of yourself. And I really hope that you enjoyed this style of teaching. This was new for me. I know that breaking up in 3 different videos may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I feel that if you need to go back and watch a certain portion, this may be easier than having a very long video, and it'll be easier for you to pick and choose what portions you want to watch. So without further ado, let's get into the conclusion of this playlist. All right, so let me move this out of the way. All right, so in the pattern, they have these. Let me move this. In the pattern, they have these as they have these as the bridge connectors, as the connectors on there. It's very easy to do this. You would take your screw, unscrew these, and then the plate of this, all right, I always tell you, you need to kind of hit these because they usually come overseas, and the salt in the ocean makes the screws stick. And I notice if I hit them sometimes, they come out. And of course, when I'm saying that, it doesn't want to come out. Ah, sucky ducky quack quack. You can get these at Emmeline Bags, Cereal Bag Maker. I'm trying to think who else has these, because I think these are the only 2 people that carry them. I'm not too sure if Handmade Space has them. You could definitely check her out. She usually has a nice array of hardware too. All right, see, so when the screws are out, this now becomes your template. So you would put this on your bag, and you would take, this is where you would get your silver marker or a permanent pen and draw on the dots, and then you'll get your hole punch and you'll punch it, and then you would, because this part's already connected onto here. So you're just unscrewing the back, and then you'll slide it in and you screw it on. With this, I bought a D-ring that's on a hinge. You can get these at your local hardware store. These are relatively inexpensive. I think this cost me $1 or 98 cents at Lowe's. And it is just a hinge. So you go to your hardware section where they have like D-rings and stuff, and you can see a plethora of different ones. This is a 1-inch one. I kind of wish I would have got a 3/4 of an inch, but it did its job. It looks very dapper, and I just punched a hole through it as the template. And what I did for here is come on, little bag. It's not quite so little. I took a piece of leather and punched a hole so that way it's nice and secure in the back. And if you're like, hey Nova, I'm a vegan, no leather, that's cool. What you can do is at that same hardware store that you got these at, you can buy circle plastic washers, or you can get metal washers the same color, and that could be the back of it, and it will serve as functionality. So the next step would be to put on your zipper. So you singe those ends, and like I said, I always try to feed my zipper even. If you don't, it comes all like wonky, and then it's not fun. So just make it as even as you can. You always could take it in and out, as whatever's easier for you. Okay. And you're going to have to give your bag a little time to get in shape. It's been through a lot, especially my bag. It has the tubing. I'm going to show you how to do the tubing next. So that's how that is. And we're going to put our end on here. I got this in from Fireweed Stitch. It's becoming my favorite style of zipper in. It's matte and it's a U. I'm going to take a piece of double-sided tape, put it on the back of my zipper. And fold it over on itself. Slide my zipper end on. Put my screw in. That just fell into my bag. Get my screwdriver. And screw that in. It's going to give you a little reluctant when it's going through the zipper, but that's okay. Just give it a little push and that's it. Then we are going to start inserting the tubing. So I'm going to give you an example because it's kind of hard to show you through the bag, and I'm going to reference the bag a couple times. So this is the tubing that we sewed in, this piece right through here. The hardest part of the tubing to get defeated through are these curves. These curves are incredibly difficult, and I'm not going to josh you or make you be like, it is so easy. No, 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 it's not. It's hard. You're going to be doing a lot of squishing because you see how it ruches? You're going to be doing squishing and pulling, squishing and pulling. You're trying to feed this tube through. So you're going to have your 3 3/8 inch tubing, and it's going to get fed through your thing. So at first, your materials, I cannot stress this enough. I had such a more easier time with a little bit stiffer material versus the material that had some stretch. The stretch kind of worked against me on this, but this could be just me or this material. So you're gonna feed the material through. And as you can see, it could be a little daunting, but just you have to be patient. Patience is a virtue for this project, I promise you. And once you get it in, you're going to start feeding the tube in. And you're just going to be squishing and slowly putting it on. It does take a little patience. It's a lot of squishing, ruching. You're going to be ruching like this. See, you're going to ruche and then feed it. Ruche. Then feed it. So you're going to scrunch it. And see how it's not moving there? Then you feed it. And you do that throughout the whole bag. So it's not a fast process. That's why you may see some, hopefully there might be some designers that show it, the process. I couldn't. It would have been like an hour-long video. So I wanted to just give you an idea. You can, some points will be easier to slide on, but around that curve, it's a lot more of just ruching the material. And you're just doing it because the thing is you can't wrap your hand around the bottom exterior. So you're just at the top ruching and feeding. And it's like that throughout the whole bag. It does get extremely more easier once you get to where the handles are free up here. and you can ruche a lot and it becomes easier. But like I said, the tightest parts are around here. Once you get this whole thing done, you're going to need to sew up the closed ends. So for this, I pretend that you're a doctor. I think having a thimble and having some hemostats helps tremendously. You're going to do, I'm using a doll needle. My fingers pads are kind of sensitive, so I use the hemostats to bring the doll needle in and out. And I'm going to make a small X. Each time, little cross stitch. And try not to poke myself like I have done several times. And this takes a lot of patience too. I do believe that you should have matching thread so it can blend in better. But you're trying to hide the tubing that's inside the bag and make it look seamless. So a little bit of cross stitching. This vinyl, as lovely as it looks, it's really gummy. I'm not liking it stitching, and like feeding the tube was a nightmare. My first bag, the tubing took me less than 35 minutes and stitching it up was a dream. And I thought for sure that because this was thinner than my first one, that this will work better. I was absolutely wrong. So I do think you should do maybe a patch test with like the tubing, like cut out a 2.5 inch, do the 1/2 inch on each side, fold it in, and make a tube to see how it feeds. I think that might be advantageous to see if that might be a good, fit for you. We're just cross stitching. Pretending that you're a doctor. It is Halloween. Have some fun. And as you get closer, I start doing like a little bit of knotting just to make sure that this area is closed off. I'm going to knot this one close. Not to get caught on the sewing machine. My neighbors are playing the drums. And snip it. And this is done. We have a very cute bag with a nice opening with the tubing all the way through the bag. And as you can see, I love this opening. We have our back pocket could fit a nice cell phone. We have a nice front. I love how the front is just open to interpretation. You could put a really nice panel in here. The tubing is going to take a minute to relax. Make sure you do run it through that hot water so that way it can not be as coily. And then we have our slip pocket, zipper pocket, middle zipper pocket, and another slip pocket. And we'd have it in a drop-in lining. So I'm hoping that this was able to help you. If you want to see both bags and the anatomy of the bag, make sure you go to the beginning and I will give any additional tips or tricks. So please like, subscribe, comment down below. And it helps this channel out tremendously. If the link to the pattern that is affiliate is in the comments, and I would greatly appreciate it if you do purchase it through there. If you don't, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I hope everyone has a great day and stay whimsical. Bye.